So I wanted to share today a little bit about my journey regarding the Abbey's winter retreats. After a year of, I sometimes consider it a proverbial feast of the Dharma. I have many times seen the winter retreat as the cherry on top or the icing on the cake. The opportunity to be able to see how much of the Dharma have we really used to nourish our minds, how much have we really digested and integrated. And also the winter retreats becomes a real powerful mirror to see how much have we grown, how much have we really taken on and called our own. Now I have to say that this has been quite a journey for me. I've been here 18 years, so I've done 17 of the 18 of the winter retreats. This is the 18th winter retreat we've had at the Abbey. And this week, for some reason, I wanted to put a little bit of hindsight into my journey. His Holiness always says that if you really want to see how your mind has changed and how your practice is improved, rather than comparing it from today and yesterday, is you go back a year, you go back a few years, you go back a number of years. So I decided I was going to go back quite a few years because I really wanted to see the changes. I mean, my mind's changing all the time, but I really wanted to see how the winter retreat has changed for me. And so I'm going to put this kind of in the retreats kind of in these chunks of time, these 5-year increments, so that I've gotten a bigger piece for myself. So the first chunk is 2005, 2011, where we actually did start doing the winter retreats. And one of the things I really learned to appreciate about Venerable Church, since the first time that I met her, I think my first retreat I ever did with her at Cloud Mountain, I had known her maybe just a few months. That group retreat has been a fundamental piece of Venerable's teaching her students, and I have found this to be remarkably helpful for my mind, whether it was a 3-day retreat, a week-long retreat, a 1-month retreat. But group retreats have been very much a part of the foundation of practice as far as being a student of Venerables, and I've learned to really appreciate that. So in 2005, 2011, let's see, the mind was, I was a baby nun. It was pretty new here at the Abbey. Venerable was pretty much holding the space. Venerable Tarp and I were baby nuns. And I had this, I would say, almost an evangelical approach to winter retreat. I was so excited. I was going to have insights. I was going to have samadhi. I was going to generate bodhicitta, and nothing was going to get in my way. I never thought that my crazy mind would be the biggest obstacle. I had so much magical thinking about the winter retreats here. I set a huge expectation. The bar was not even on the planet. It was someplace in another universe. And so for the first few years, those first 5 or 6 years, so much energy and not knowing what to do with it, so much mental proliferating and not knowing how to restrain it. I was restless, I was bored, I was bossy, I was interfering, I was disruptive, I was blaming everybody and everything for the fact that I was not being able to concentrate. I was so wound up, so tight, because I was so excited and I wasn't getting what I wanted. And I was incorrigible. I was really incorrigible. And when I came out of the retreat, it was like I was so relieved. Just give me a saw. Just get me in the garden. Just put me somewhere. I'm done with winter retreat. But what was very interesting is that looking back on this, inside my mind somewhere deep, I knew that I had missed something important. I wasn't able to get there, but I missed something very, very precious. But and I didn't know what it was. My untrained mind was too obscure to really see the preciousness of what I had. Okay, then the next 5 years, 2011, 2016. So I get to go to Taiwan. The community is growing. The people coming to the Abbey is growing. This is when we built Chenrezig Hall in this 5-year span. We had people coming in numbers, sharing the dharmas. We had 50, 60 people. The concentration retreat, just dozens and dozens of people. And forest projects, big numbers, big project with the building, full ordination. I went into that little cycle of retreats fried, totally fried. I did a face plant into the winter retreat. I was so exhausted because I didn't know, and I thought that, oh, I'm finally in winter retreat. I can rest. I can unwind. I had gotten myself, me, moderation is not a word that people describe me with. And I ended up sleeping a lot, not only in the morning and the evening, but through most of the sessions, or spaced out. I was so tired. And then, but what did happen in that section is that in 2014, we had our 4 fully ordained, we actually had 5 fully ordained bhikshunis. So we did our first Varsa. Venerable Heng Xing had come here with the bhikshuni to teach us the chants and to help us get into Varsa. And it was about keeping my mind to myself. We do Varsa. It lines up somewhat with our winter retreat, but for the monastics here, it's all about watching your own mind. You don't give feedback, you don't give admonishment, you don't give advice, you don't point out people's faults, you just mind your own business. And this is one of the best things that ever happened to this mind, was for it to begin to mind its own business. My precepts were getting a little bit better. I was getting a little bit quieter inside. I could see that my mind had a lot more to do about how my retreat experience went than all this external stuff that was going on. So that was starting to become an understanding for me, that I was bringing a lot more into the retreat, and how the year went before I went into the retreat influenced the kind of mind that I had to deal with when I went into retreat. Then the past 6 years have been, things just really, really shifted. I came to realize that the Varsa has become a real anchor for me. That fence of protection, to know that I am totally responsible for this mind and nobody else's. Venerable has over and over again given us, and she will probably do it this afternoon, give us some very wise, practical advice on how to take care of the body, how to take care of the mind. I could see that the Dharma, I was feasting on the Dharma and actually digesting it in a way that it was nourishing me. I'm more relaxed now. I'm more realistic. My expectations are more in line with more of where I am rather than where I'm supposed to be, some ideal. So when I come into the retreats now, I'm much more cognizant of how important it is to bring a mind that's going to be able to take advantage of the retreat. So that has been very, very helpful. Also, too, having a major surgery, my sister died, I did a solitary retreat. There are these big life pieces that also I decided I was going to use to fuel those winter retreats that followed those kind of experiences. And it's also helpful for me to understand that I can prioritize what's important for me in the retreat. I can really focus down on this. So this year I decided that what I would do, there's 2 things that I've been starting to do more, is first of all, I really want to make sure that I go into the retreat full of joy and gratitude, rejoice at all the virtue that not only myself, but the community has created, with the COVID and the droughts and the fires, the incredible kindness that we continually get clothed, fed, sheltered, and housed by people who will never see us. We do this and we are cared for in a way that is just, it's like the stars at noon. This is how rare this is, folks. We have to understand how rare the conditions are that we have created. And also, I want to really bring in the retreat the faith that our friends have in us. They're supporting us because they believe in what we're doing. And that really, cut to the chase, keeps me honest, keeps me humble, and keeps me committed. I owe them. This is the kindness that I want to repay. And that has become so much a part of my retreat. I just love the kindness. I want to repay. I want to be able to transform myself and generate bodhicitta. It's the least that I can do for the kind of pristine rarity of the environment that we have here. The other thing that I do is I really try to hone in on a specific motivation. Generating bodhicitta and wanting to gain insight and wisdom is we do that all the time. And I try to keep that part of the day as much as I can. But during the retreat, how is this retreat specifically going to support my generating those qualities? I want to be really, really clear. If I'm going to study the commentary on the Medicine Buddha, if I'm going to review Geshe Topke's 16 aspects of Noble Truth, how is that going to support my bodhicitta? In what way is that going to support my wisdom? So I keep focused and I remember why I'm doing it. I get so spaced out so easily that I have to continually reaffirm my bodhicitta and why I'm doing the practices, why I'm doing the sadhana, why I'm doing the study that I'm doing, is to be able to see how that supports my bodhicitta. How does that support my practice? How does it support my joyous effort, my ethical conduct? So to be really, really clear, just don't go into the retreat and kind of go, well, whatever, I'll do this and I'll do that. If I get bored, I'll do this. I really try to stay focused with a good heart. So then Venerable will probably share with us this afternoon some of the very wise practical advice that she's been giving us over and over again. A lot of the years I didn't bother to even think about, and that's why I got into so much trouble. So here are some of them that I have found specifically personally to be very, very helpful for me. First of all is to remember to accept the fact that for the first 2 weeks, I'm probably going to be making lists and I'm probably going to be planning. All right? I can't, that mind is not a mind that just shuts off this afternoon when Venerable puts us in retreat. So I accept that as a reality, that I'm going to have some lists, I'm going to have some planning, but it'll slowly just kind of melt away. And rather than getting crazy, getting angry with myself because that's the mind that's still there. Remembering that I am in Varsa, take care of my mind and mind my own business. I'm a poker, I'm a complainer. I'm a fault finder. And the Varsa really compels me to just really mind my own business. And that is because we're in a kind of a rarefied environment here, and we see each other all the time, even more. There's no place to go, no place to run, and so I want to watch myself. The other thing is to take our time to drop deeply into what you are studying. I mean, just once again, digest it like a beautiful, delicious meal, savor the Dharma. And to say to yourself, there is no rush, there's no need to finish, there's no need to complete anything, there's no need to get through anything. Take your time. Take your time. Exercise, eat well, get to bed at a decent hour, dears, rest, enjoy the silence and commit to holding it. This is a huge piece, noble silence. This retreat will totally change if we don't hold silence. Enjoy the friendship of the community holding the space for you, as Venerable Lamsal has so beautifully said the other day. Appreciate everyone. Appreciate the kindness of everybody. Be vigilant with the mind that says, this retreat is a whole lot worse than it was last year. God, this session just sucks. Man, I just don't know what I'm going to do. The whole comparing mind is going to be in the retreat, folks. Accept it. And it's going to want to start comparing. It's going to want to start putting you into competition with who's sitting in meditative equipoise, who's not. Forget it. Drop it. Every session, you hit the refresh button, all right? There's no such thing as a comparing mind. And you can't. It's going to just destroy the whole beauty of the retreat. And if you start writing notes, you have lost the retreat, all right? You are now in the mind of distraction. So what you do is you figure out what the heck is distracting you, because the notes are not only going to throw you out of retreat, they're going to throw out a number of other people out of retreat as well. Have your most powerful and reliable antidotes handy. I have discovered over the years that the self-centered thought hates retreats. Because two things happen that it can't stand. Either it gets put underneath a magnifying glass and challenged, or it gets totally ignored. And it can't stand either of those two things. And it'll come in the form of boredom, restlessness, sleepiness, agitation, depressed. It's got huge amounts of strategies, and it hates being in retreat. And then look at your mind. I mean, the mind is going to change. Bring curiosity into the retreat. Show up physically. Show up mentally. There will be challenges. If we are engaged, as Venerable said, if we're engaged, they're going to come up. If you're cruising on the top of the surface, you're not really, you're not taking advantage of the time. And if the challenges do come up, take them to the cushion or take them for a walk. Just go out in the woods and just kindly talk yourself through it. Give yourself some kind advice. Be a good friend to yourself. And it's all really fuel for our practice. So as Venerable says, every session is a new session. And once again, as we get into it, okay, wow, we've got a whole 3 weeks with Medicine Buddha for the folks who are here for a month. Then that week goes by. It's not the end of the retreat. You've got a whole 2-week retreat with Vajrasattva, with Medicine Buddha. And then you go one more week. I've got a whole week with Medicine Buddha. Oh, wow. And then it goes down to 5, 4, 3. I've got 2 days with Medicine Buddha. I'm so excited. Don't look at what you're going to be doing when you get home. Keep refreshing and saying, I've got a new retreat. I'm a new week, a new day with the Medicine Buddha. And it really keeps the mind freshened. It keeps the mind happy. It keeps the mind interested rather than distracted and already into future traveling. So I have taken, the advice, it's taken 18 years, folks. I mean, that's my mind. But I love retreat. I have a lot of confidence now in myself. And it's bearing fruit. So wherever you are in your practice, bring that with a form of loving kindness and of ease into the retreat, and you will not steer yourself wrong. It really is a beautiful, I can't tell you how rare this is for all of us, and that we've created the causes for this. So let's really enjoy ourselves.